Today's eye makeup has got to be one of the most simple in the world. It's a subtle bronze finish using one product, and we're accentuating that with some lashes and some beautiful dewy skin. So let's get on with the tutorial. As you know, I have oily skin through the T section, so my favourite product to apply is the Murad Oil and Pore Control Mattifier. This has an SPF 45, it doesn't flash back, and it really is good at keeping you matte all day long. It contains avocado and African yellow woodbark extracts, which visibly reduce pore size and excessive oil, thereby keeping you oil free for around 10 hours. Next, I'm going in with the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. This is a 2-in-1. It's for dry to combination and combination to oily skins, which is quite unique as most foundations normally serve one or the other. It is full coverage, but it definitely still allows your skin to look like you're not wearing anything. It's just incredible at evening out your skin tone without looking heavy at all, and you can layer it. And don't forget it is a 2-in-1, so you can layer it as a concealer. Next, I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Essentials palette. This is a limited edition palette. Usually this comes with 12 shades of cream foundation, but this one has 6 shades of foundation and 6 shades of blush. I'm going to do a mix of sculpting and bronzing at the same time by taking one of the warmer foundations in a darker tone. First off, I'm going to bounce it along the areas that I want to darken or warm up, and then I'm going to use the other side of the sponge where it's got a little bit of the foundation left on it to bounce over the top to soften the look. As I don't have a lighter shade of the Clinique foundation, I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way to lift and brighten the inner corner of the eyes and the outer edges to give a lifted look to the cheekbone area. It's funny because this technique and placement of concealer is trending at the moment. If you go through a lot of my older videos, you'll know this is a placement I've always kind of favoured because I find that placing concealer directly underneath the lower lid tends to make that area look more crepey. So my preference has always been to lift the outer edge to give the face a bit more of a lifted appearance, as well as brightening that inner corner with concealer. So I've placed that on those areas and I'm using my sponge to bounce it in to give a more natural finish. So staying with that palette at the moment, I'm going to the blush side and I'm taking number 306 Red Coral and I'm bouncing that on the outer half of the cheek, pulling the colour backwards. And although this looks quite vivid at the moment, by the time we've got the rest of the makeup on, it will fade. So I'm going to go in with something else later on, but it works as a great base. And remember, layering your products means longevity. So much like I did with the cream foundation, I'm putting the colour on first and then bouncing over it with the opposite side of my sponge to soften it. Through the T section of my face, I'm going to take the L'Oreal Mercier translucent powder, and first off, making sure there's no creasing, I'm going to set underneath the eyes, and I'm going to do that by pressing my sponge into the powder and then gently tapping that underneath the eyes. You really do only need a very light amount of this. Don't be fooled into thinking you need a heavy layer because that's what you see other people doing. Remember, in real life, all you will see is that powder sitting on top of the skin. Remember, less is definitely more. For the eyes, I'm going to take the new Benefit Cosmetics Hoola Glow. So it's your original Hoola shade, but with a golden sun-kissed glow shot through it. And this bronzer is limited edition. So get your hands on it before it goes. It will give you a beautiful sun-kissed finish to your face, not just your eyes. At the moment, I can't see it on any of the American websites, so I'm not sure if it's just in the UK at the moment. So as you can see, I'm just using a fluffy brush to apply this to the lid all the way up to where the eye naturally creases, which is called the socket for those of you that are new to makeup. Because this is such a subtle bronze, it looks beautiful on the eyes, especially if you are using it on the face, because it really does look cohesive. But it's also an easy look for those of you with mono lids and hooded lids. Once you've buffed that on your top lid, we're then going to take a small detailer brush and buff that underneath our lower eyelashes to frame the eye. I'm going to be applying some eyeliner, but you don't have to. You can leave it at this with some mascara, or you could use an eye pencil instead of a liquid eyeliner. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Mega Liner in the dark brown shade. I love this because it's super affordable, it's super intense, and it lasts so well. So I'm starting on the outer half of the lid, making it thicker as we get to the outer corner, and then I'm using a brush to buff over it while it's still wet. Each time you do this, you want to just dust your bristles off onto a tissue, which will prevent you getting it into a bit of a mess because you don't want the bristles to be too wet, otherwise you won't be able to smudge it out. The reason I'm doing this with a liquid liner rather than just a pencil is because, again, it's got more longevity and it will last a lot longer. It also won't transfer onto your top lid. When you do the inner half of your eye, it can be quite tricky with a brush, so I would recommend doing it with a small cotton bud, even ones with the pointy tips, because it will make your life a lot easier. Eyeliner's obviously optional. The reason I like to do it is because it does give a beautiful shape to the eye, but it also makes your eyelash line look fuller, and when you're applying falsies, it's a great way to disguise the band, especially if you do struggle getting it really close to the root of your eyelashes. So you'll see I just went back in with my detailer brush, dipped into a small amount of the Hoola Glow, and I buffed over the top to soften it. Now I've applied a small amount of that mega liner to the outer corner, and I'm using a pointy brush by Anastasia Beverly Hills to pull the colour out, and then I'm buffing over it to soften it so it matches the rest of that soft liner across the top lash line. This is the ultimate way to make your top lash line look fuller. Using what's left on the eyeliner tip, blink onto it so that you're coating your top waterline. Then give your natural lashes a little curl and apply some mascara. My favourite one at the moment is the Cosmetics a la carte Intense Volume Mascara. It's so good. It instantly gives you so much volume, and it doesn't transfer and it doesn't flake either. And until the 30th of June, you can get 15% off with the code Shonagh15 at the checkout. Eyelashes are obviously optional. I really wanted to try these ones by Claudia Solaris in this beautiful style called Butterfly. What I decided to do was to cut them in half. If you've not seen my eyelash hack video, I'll put it on screen for you now. Check it out. It makes eyelash application so much more simplistic. You can see here the first half went on extremely easy, as did the second half, and now we've got a beautiful strip lash that isn't going to ping up at the edges because the tension isn't being pulled from either end. As long as you allow your glue to go a little bit tacky, once they're on, you can just manipulate them, lay them down a little bit, push them back towards the root, and it will just give a more natural finish, and they will sit close to the root of your eyelashes without any skin peering through. Once they're on, you can use tweezers or your finger to pinch them to your natural eyelashes. I didn't bother because they were so securely in place, I didn't need to worry. They are such a beautiful, pretty eyelash. The only thing I did was just go over the clear lash band with some black eyeliner to disguise it, because otherwise against my black lashes, you would have seen that clear band peering through. Then I just finished off with a coat of mascara on my lower eyelashes. Again, I'm using my Cosmetics a la carte Intense Volume Mascara. This is beautiful, honestly. If you've not tried it, you must get your hands on it. It's so good. Next, I was really excited to try the Lisa Eldridge Enlivening Blush in the shade Island Glow. This blush is divine, and you need the tiniest amount. I mean, this is too much. Now you can just go straight in with your fingers. I decided to try a little bit buffed onto my brush to dab over the top since I already had some base makeup down. Also, I was planning to use a powder blush, so I did powder over this area. That's why I'm using a brush, so I can stipple over the translucent powder that's on the skin. This just looks so beautiful. Then I'm going in with the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow in the shade Cosmic Rose. And I was really excited to give this a try because it has an ingredient in it that gives a tightening effect to the skin. And usually highlight tends to accentuate any areas that are textured or crepey, but this is phenomenal and I've not put it down since I bought it. Honestly, it looks so insane over bare skin as well. It's so lovely. It doesn't have any frosted appearance. It doesn't have a ton of shimmery particles. It just gives this beautiful glow to the skin. And once it's set and it gives that tightening effect to the skin, it really does give you a glassy finish. And as you can see, it's so simple to apply with your fingers. Use one pad of your finger to apply it and then use a clean pad of your finger to bounce it in. And as you can see, when I look to the side, I'm getting this beautiful glassy finish to the skin. It doesn't look like a product. It looks like that is the texture of your skin. It's so clever and so beautiful. This will be what I'm wearing on my wedding. Sticking with Lisa Eldridge, I'm going to take her beautiful Luxuriously Lucent lip colour in the shade Dance Card. This is such a beautifully comfortable lipstick to wear. The colour is a pink peachy coral, which you know I'm a huge fan of, and it's very similar to Go Lightly, but less intense. And that completes today's makeup tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you did. Come follow me outside of YouTube over on Instagram. Don't forget, all the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description bar, and I'll see you next week. Bye!